Hi everybody, it's Coach Shiv here. Today I want to talk about happiness and work. Let me start off with a question. Is it possible to be happy in life if you're unhappy at work? I don't know about you, but I found it impossible. Whenever I was in a situation where I was unhappy with my job, it invariably affected other areas of my life. Health, relationships, social life, all of that got affected. They all went downhill when I was in a job that I was not happy being. I couldn't even enjoy my holidays because I dreaded going back to work. So my Monday blues didn't remain Monday blues, they became Sunday blues too. My Monday blues would begin on Sundays. About halfway through my Sunday, I'd start worrying about the fact that Monday was not far away. So, the statistics say that we spend over 1/3 of our lives at work. And over an average lifespan, that's about 90,000 hours of work. Just think about it, folks. If we are going to be unhappy for that duration of our lives, is it really practical to think that we can isolate that component of our lives and be unhappy there but happy everywhere else? Is it any surprise that there is a connection between happiness at work and happiness in life in general? Global surveys have shown that 70% of people who are employed or who are working people are unhappy with their jobs. Other surveys show that about 30% of people at any given time who are employed are actively looking to change their jobs. And then there's this whole massive percentage of people who are unhappy with their jobs, but they're not doing anything about it. And I used to belong to that club, where all we did was complain and feel sorry for ourselves. Every company that I worked in, I had a group just like me. We'd get together and, when we had a chance, we'd just indulge in self-pity and feeling sorry for ourselves. A whinge fest, if you like, This is not right, that's not right, this is horrible, that's bad, this drives me crazy. But we'd never do anything about it for long periods of time. So another question here is, why does work bring so much unhappiness? Why is it such a chronic problem? And why is it so widespread? After all, work is what brings us money, right? And without money, we can't have much of a life. So if that's the main source of our money and our income, why is it bringing in so much misery and unhappiness along with it? If we just think back to when we applied for that job that's now driving us crazy. We wanted that job, right? That's why we applied for it. We were hoping we'd be shortlisted and called for an interview. Once we had the interview, we were desperately keen to land the job. And then over a period of time, everything turned to custard. Why? So now, shall we look at some of the causes for our unhappiness at work? Now let me tell you, friends, a lot of these causes are things that I plucked out of my own experience. I didn't have to do too much research on this. So let's go. The first one could be maybe the job is too challenging. Maybe we are not a good fit for that job. Or maybe we're just heavily overworked, overloaded, far too much on our plate. Not enough time to do what we need to do. So that could be one of the reasons. Another reason, which is a very common reason, is a nasty boss. A boss who might be unrealistic in terms of expectations, who might be a micromanager, who might be overcritical, who might be condescending, who might be sarcastic, who might be insecure, a whole lot of things. And my experience of 35 years of working have brought me in contact with many of these people with these qualities. Or maybe the job is not challenging enough, opposite to the first reason. Maybe it's just too easy, too boring, too monotonous. Maybe you could just do that job blindfolded, with your hands tied behind your back perhaps. Another reason could be that you don't see any prospects in this job, no future, so a dead-end sort of job. Another common reason for unhappiness at work is that the work-life balance is out of kilter. The time at work or the stresses at work are affecting your health, your relationships, your social life, and your peace of mind. Or you might have the misfortune of being in a toxic work environment where your colleagues are unhelpful. Maybe there's a lot of gossip, a lot of backbiting. Or it could be that people are not pulling their weight, so you are having to do an unfair lot of work. You're having to take an unfair share of the burden. Or it could be the kind of job that I frequently found myself in, where we are constantly fighting fires. I remember times when as soon as I walked into the office and turned on my computer, boom, there'd be emails with all sorts of problems from the previous day. And so it begins there and it never ends till the end of the day. You put out one fire, there's another fire somewhere else. That can be very taxing, physically, mentally, emotionally, very draining. Or maybe you're in a role where you're constantly fixing other people's problems. Somebody else stuffs up and you have to be the one who cleans up. Or it could be an environment where there's a lot of favoritism, cronyism, ass-kissing, which you're very uncomfortable with. So these are all so many issues that you could come up with in work that could lead to your unhappiness. Or maybe it's just that everything is fine in terms of the company you work for, your colleagues, your boss, but you're just missing that purpose. No sense of purpose, or you don't have any larger meaning for what you're doing, and you're seeking that, you're craving that. So do you identify yourself in any of these situations? If you're unhappy at work, do you think one of these scenarios is what you're going through? Now, despite all these discomforts, why do so many people stay stuck? Because they think that this is their comfort zone. And they fear change, because change brings with it the unknown, and the unknown is scary. So that fear paralyzes any thought of action. People don't want to go from the frying pan into the fire. They're afraid of that. The new situation could be worse. Then there's the fear of having to establish yourself in a new place. Because once you've worked for many years in one place, you've already established yourself. You don't have to prove yourself again. So there's that fear of having to prove yourself. Or it could be that the economy is looking vulnerable. Like today, in today's times, COVID has rattled so many economies. So people feel this is not the right time to change jobs. So however miserable I might be, I'd rather just stay where I am. Or it could just be that, people lack self-belief. Sometimes staying in an unhappy situation for too long can do that to people. It erodes your sense of self-worth and self-belief. Makes you believe that you can't do anything else. So friends, there are so many reasons why people could be unhappy at work. Now, I want to just talk about some basic principles of trying to find happiness in a situation like this. What are the things that you can do in order to feel that you're not trapped? Now, I'm just going to skim over the surface because this is meant to be a short video. So my principles are PRPA. I call it the PRPA formula. So what's P? The first P is pause. Take a pause. Most of the time we are reacting to situations. So there's a stimulus that causes a reaction. So that's where we are back to back. That's the stimulus and that's the reaction. What we need is a gap in between. So we need to pause. We need to take a breather. Because when we pause, things settle down. And when they settle down, we seem to get better clarity. Options begin to show themselves. And then we can respond to the situation instead of reacting. There's a big difference between reacting to a situation and responding to a situation. And the difference is give yourself the time. The R in the PRPA formula is reflect. So then the time is to do some introspection, self-review, self-analysis, brainstorm, find out, what are your strengths, what are you good for, and then determine what your good fit might be. The next P in the PRPA formula is plan. This is when you set down a plan of action. And the plan would involve a few questions. The first one would be why? And this is the most important question. Why are you unhappy where you are? And then comes the how. How can I resolve this situation? It's always important to look at the why first, and then the how can follow. Because the why is the driver. That's the one that moves you. So it's the initial start that you need, and you need to start with the why, and then follow it up with how do I do it? How do I achieve what I want to achieve? And then there might be the what. What are the things I need to do? And then the when. What's the time frame? When do I want to complete all these tasks? And in the PRPA formula, the last one, A, is for action. This is when you take action and be consistent with your action. So friends, that's my basic formula, the PRPA: pause, reflect, plan, and act. If you want to know more, if you want to dive deeper into any of this, which we can, there's a lot of stuff that we can do towards resolving a situation that you might find yourself stuck in. Feel free to reach out if you want to know more. and we can have a discussion one-on-one specific to your situation. Then we can look at how to move forward. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.